Hello my good friends and welcome. I'm Buck Weezer and you've tuned into Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube. This is the channel where we put the do into do-it-yourself. And I want to talk to you today about the #1 reason your snowblower won't start. And I hope this will help you get your snowblower back up and running. So you have this experience, you know, maybe the first snowfall or just getting ready for the first snowfall. You pull the snowblower out of the shed and it won't start no matter what you do. And you've got gas, you know it ran last year at the end of the season when you put it away, but now it won't start for anything. I can tell you 99 times out of 100 the reason for that. Now I got a snowblower sitting right here. It was delivered to me recently. I have no idea how long it's been since it ran. It hasn't snowed yet this year, so it hasn't run this year. And guess what? Last winter, where I live, we had no snow either. You never know. So it's probably been close to 2 years or more since this machine here ran. Now it's a Craftsman snowblower. Looks to be about 20 years old. I don't know for sure. It's got fuel in it, and it won't start. And I'm going to demonstrate with this snowblower what the problem is so that you can take care of your snowblower as well. Let me first try to start it and you can see that in fact it doesn't run. So let me give that a try. It's got clean fuel. I put the choke on, it's got the key in. Move this up to run. Primer. Alright, so you can see it's not running. Alright, why? Like I said, 99 times out of 100, this is the #1 reason why your snowblower won't start. It sat all those months with old fuel gumming up the carburetor main jet. So it might have spark, it might have compression, it might have run last year. But sitting all those months when it wasn't being used, the fuel has gummed up and clogged up the carburetor. That's just one of the realities of the ethanol enriched fuel that they have out today. So that is that's the #1 reason that a snowblower or a lawnmower or any other of these small engines won't want to start. It's often fuel related. And now we're going to do a test, and I'm going to prove to you that this engine does want to start. It's got spark, it's got compression. The problem is fuel. So I'm going to show you how I test my theory, and we'll take it from there. All right, the test we're going to run is pretty simple. We just have to get access to the carburetor, which is under this cover. There's sometimes a screw up here, which is missing in my case, and then there's 2 Phillips head screws here, one of which is missing in my case. So take him off, and you might have to remove the lever on the choke. Might have to remove this handle on the throttle. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, that's all. That's good like that. Now, if you got one of these keys, leave that plugged in and make sure your throttle is up, because if you push it all the way down, it'll ground it out and it won't fire. So keep that up. And now we have access to the carburetor, this guy right here. All right, so I'm going to open the choke plate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some engine starting fluid directly into the throat of this carburetor, and then we're going to try to start it. And you can get this at Walmart or any auto parts store. We're just going to see if this machine will indeed fire on the fuel of the starting fluid alone, and that will confirm a lot for us. So let's just spray some of that in there, and then I'm going to try and start it. It didn't stay running because it was only running on the fuel of starting fluid that we had sprayed in there. And this confirms for us a lot of things. So that little test confirms for us that this snowblower will start and will run. It's got compression, it's getting spark, and the timing's correct because it ran for a couple of seconds. What it's not getting is fuel, because the old fuel has gummed up this carburetor. It ran on the fuel that we sprayed into the throat of the carburetor, but it's not pulling the fuel from the carburetor bowl up through the main jet and into the combustion chamber. It's just a fancy way of saying we need to take down this carburetor, clean out that main jet, put it back together, and it'll be back in business, I'm sure of it. Now what I'd like to do is show you a very simple thing that anyone can do without having to remove the carburetor from the engine, that we can do to clean out the carburetor bowl and the bowl nut, which also serves as our main jet. Now you're going to want to either drain the fuel out of the tank, or as I'm going to use this pair of vice grips and just pinch off the fuel line, because otherwise when we remove the bowl, it'll just keep running on us. So now I got a 1/2-inch ratchet, and I'm going to take this bowl down. Now you have a rag handy, because chances are when you remove it, it's going to leak some fuel. I'll use this old red sweatshirt as my rag. All right, so loosening this bowl nut. All right, so I got some fuel leaking, as you can see. Just what's in the bowl, we've pinched off the fuel line, so it shouldn't keep leaking for too long. It's just the stuff that was in the bowl. Now we can totally remove that bowl nut. That's this guy. And we can take down the carburetor bowl carefully. Now let's go over to the workbench, and I'll show you how to clean this bowl and clean this bowl nut jet, and then we can put it back together and our snowblower will run again. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There is a little bit of crud in our bowl, and I'm just going to use a little bit of carburetor cleaner to spray that out, and we'll wipe it out with a rag. We want this to be completely clean. Not bad at all. Sometimes you take these down and they're really filled with crud, and that crud is gummed up and clogged up the jet. That's why I'm not getting fuel. This one doesn't really look that bad. Now what I want you to see on this jet, we'll remove the gasket for now, and what I want you to see at the base of this nut, there's a hole, and it goes straight through to the other side, and that's where the fuel enters into the jet, and it's sucked up through the top here. So we need to make sure that this, using something sharp like a pick or a wire or a guitar string or a bread tie wire, we're going to clean that out, and then we're going to do the same through the top. Sometimes I have little wires like this with which I can clean these things, but they're very small holes and they can get clogged with debris or with old fuel that's turned to varnish, and we just got to clean them out. They've got to be clean and clear so that the fuel can flow through these passages. And I think that's pretty good, actually. And now I'm going to take some of that carburetor cleaner, and I'm going to spray it in through the top, and it comes out the sides at the bottom. So you just use a little bit of this too, just to make sure everything is clean and clear and flowing. Don't just use the spray, also use something hard and sharp to clean it out, because sometimes that built up varnish doesn't disappear just with the carburetor cleaner. You really want to make sure that you have cleaned it with a wire or something in addition to just the carburetor cleaner spray. And then when you're done cleaning it out, just spray it out one more time. See that? Okay, so that's good and clean. We spray it out one final time. Okay, and put the gasket back on, and then we're going to go put it back up on the snowblower. Okay, so this is going back up. Now there's a rubber gasket up here where the bowl meets the carburetor, and that's got to be intact, so make sure that's good. Oh, there it is. See, it came down on me. So I got to put that back up there. Alright, that looks pretty good because you don't want that to leak on you. Then our bowl nut. And tighten that with the ratchet. Right. Give that a good look-see. We can remove our clamp and fuel should flow in again into the bowl. And make sure it's not leaking. And then we'll be ready to see if this wants to run for us. Okay. We'll apply the choke, move the throttle lever to full. Our key is in there. We should be good to go. We'll press the primer bulb a time or two. Baby, we're back in business. And that's really all there is to it. We simply cleaned out the carburetor bowl and the main jet, the bowl nut, put it back up, and she wants to run again. And that feels really good. I didn't do anything that's beyond the scope of the average person who's got some basic hand tools. So if this is your snowblower's not wanting to run, try what I've just showed you today, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be back in business. You're going to feel good about doing it yourself and not having to pay somebody to help you out. Now you're ready for snow. Thanks for watching. Leave me your comments and questions in the discussion below, and check out some of my other videos that could also be of help to you with your small engine equipment. And remember, as I like to say, only you can put the do into do-it-yourself. See you next time.